And welcome to the vlog. This is the start of the basics of carp fishing, and where a lot of people are going to learn the sport, and there's no elitist about this. You will learn some things along the way, and even if you're not new to the sport and you're just watching this because you're interested, then at least you'll find something different as well, and some of the little tips that'll be in there as well, so you'll enjoy that. I'm going to tell you now, the most important rig in carp fishing has always been the hair rig. The hair rig has been a fundamental change in carp fishing, and there are new rigs knocking about which are a little bit too complicated when you're just first starting.
What do you desire? What makes you itch? What sort of a situation would you like?
Now, the hair rig has been developed over centuries, and it's only recently in the last 40 years that people have been using it in carp fishing. Len Middleton wrote about it in various magazines, and in the British Isles he was actually classed as the person who invented the hair rig. But the reality of it is mounting a bait. This is what a hair rig does: it mounts a bait away from the hook, and we're going to show that when we construct the rig. Now throughout the world this rig has been used. So what is a hair rig? Well, a hair rig is fundamentally mounting your bait away from the hook, and this makes it easier for fish to take when it's swimming along. It can take in the bait and it leaves the hook free to catch the mouth of the fish, and that's why the hair rig works. So let's have a look at a hair rig. Now, in a lot of videos I have seen, you can't exactly see what's going on in the video because people are fiddling around with something and you can't see it. So what I've done is I've made a big hook. Look at the size of that. So this is going to make it easier for me to illustrate to you what I'm doing. Okay, now in essence that's a hair rig. It's a piece of line which separates away from the hook, and then you've got a loop there to put what we call a boiler stop in, or it could be anything that you can put in the end of that loop to stop the bait coming off. This is not a boilie, this is a Christmas bauble, but just to illustrate, I'm going to put this in there. So once you put the bait on, that's what it looks like there. This is the bait, that's a hook, and this piece of line between the hook and there is the hair rig, and that's it. Now, if you're new to fishing, you won't know how to attach that, so first and foremost we'll do it step by step. Now, my little tip to you when you first start fishing is when you start going for carp is don't try to cast too far. Take your time, be stealthful, and then fish in your margins. If it's not too shallow, obviously, but fish in the margins and just put a few baits down there and put your hair rig and your line to that area. But we'll go through all different aspects of that later on. So this is for beginners, it's not for everybody, but I'll explain a few things as I go along. Now, if this was a smaller piece of hook link material like here, you can clearly see why I'm doing this, because this, if I try to illustrate this on a video, it's difficult to see what you're doing with your hands, so people are unclear. So hence why I'm using a big piece of cord. First and foremost, you get your cord, you double it over, that's there, and what you do is with an overhand knot, you just push it through. Let's make it even bigger. You push it round over the front and just pull it through. Right, now you might think that's quite simple. It is, but not everyone's been fishing, and that gives you the loop. Cut off your tag, the excess there. A little tip you do when you're working with monofilament is to wet it when you're actually pulling it too. So we're going to cut the tag end off, we don't need that. That leaves you with a loop. Now, right, what we can do next, we could put the bait onto the loop first. Well, the Christmas bauble in this instance. What we're going to do is we're going to thread, this is a bait needle, you need to buy one of these from a tackle shop. This will actually help you push this through the bait like so, and the needle will come out the other side. Alright, once the needle's out the other side, all you've got to do is attach the baiting needle, which has got a little loop on there at the top, onto the loop of there, and that will then pull that through the bait. So you're pulling it, once it's through, you're pulling the needle through the bait, which then will have the loop in that situation, which has been then pulled through the bait. What you then need to do is put a boilie stop or a bait stop on there, or even a small piece of rush or a plant, something, nothing to, or even a twig, just to stop that loop, right, from pulling right the way through the bait. Just pull that through, and that will then stop. That will then stop, and the line will come through the bait, and that's ready to go. So it's just a little something to stop the line pulling back through the bait when you cast out. That's all that's there for. So now your bait's attached, which is great. One thing you'll find is if you put your hook down or hook link material down, make sure you put it on a table or something, because you put it on your knee or anywhere else, you know, it happens to me, you can't find anything. I couldn't even find that hook for a second then. That's the size that I had to look around with, try and find where that is. So always put things down where they're at hand. A little tray or something's really good. Now, how then do we attach this piece of line? It's a bit long this, so I'm going to cut this down. How do we attach that piece of line, which is about 1.5 feet, to the hook? Now we've got the bait set on there, but we're going to judge how far we need it to be first. So I think that, for myself personally, is a good distance away from the hook. So when the fish sucks in the bait, it sucks in the hook and it leaves the hook free to hook into the fish's mouth. That's how it works. So when they blow it out, the bait goes past, the hook's still in the fish's mouth, and it hooks into the fish. That's how the Erig works. Now, once we've got that in place, we're happy with the distance of that, we're going to take the line and we're going to push the line through the back of the hook. This is the back of the hook, so we're coming through this loop and we're going to put that through the back of the hook, like so, there. Okay, now what we can do next, we're going to do something called the knotless knot. Alright, I know it's a knot, but it's still called the knotless knot. We're going to take that that's hanging down through the back of the hook to the front point like that, okay? And what we're then going to do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And wind back, put it back through there. That's it, that's on. That's how quick and easy it is to do a hair rig. Now what you could do as well is put a slither, a silicone tubing on. You can find them in your local tackle shops, and you can slide that over that section there, and that there, in essence, is your hair rig. Nice and simple to do. Okay, I hope that's nice and clear for you. Now, what I want you to do is, when you're constructing this as well, now we have lipids that's on here from human beings. This stuff on our skin, and fish can smell in the water to up to 1,000 per 1 part. A lot easier to smell in water than it is to smell in air. It's just physics. So what I suggest you could do is, when you're doing this, is just rub a little bit of fish oil onto your hands. Now it sounds a little daft, or rub some of your bait that you're using all over your hands while you're playing with this braid. Now there's loads of different kinds of braids in tackle shops. We'll go through that in a later video. But this is just a basic hair rig. Now watch on the next video as we transform this into a different rig, which is going to be called the anti-blowback rig. Okay, which is a little bit more advanced, but we'll look at that. We can go really advanced in the future, and we can go at different rigs, like I've got one here, which you might not be able to see. That's a D rig. Okay, that's a D rig and a bit of tungsten putty.